So hi Kurt. So just question number one. Just tell me a little bit about you guys, All Tent Maui, like about your business, how long you've been going. I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, we're on Maui. We're just starting an office on Oahu, building from scratch. So that's one of the reasons why we needed Ronan's help, your help. We've been in business on Maui for 28 years. So we've been here for a long time. We have a commercial specialization. We do quite a bit of residential, but it's not really our focus. Our strategy as a business is specifically not to compete with the home services guys. We don't want to be we're not in the used car salesman, kind of good, better, best, try to pin down somebody on a sell at the door kind of thing. That's not us at all. For us, we charge by the hour. We try to give a professional diagnosis, and give the customer, options on how to move forward. So there's no conflicts of interest as far as, we have no commissioned, techs or anything like that. All of our guys are paid hourly, so they don't have a conflict of interest or anything there. Right now we've got 5 crews in our install department that does all of our new install and retrofit. This month we're up to 8 service techs in our service department. So all in as a team, we're right around 25 as far as techs in the field and people in the office. So that's sort of our specialty. We do HVAC and refrigeration. Refrigeration's a big component for us. We do a lot of walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers, kitchen equipment, that kind of stuff on top of the refrigeration. So
Obviously, it's an interesting market because it's Hawaii based, which is quite rare. So are you guys covering like the whole of Hawaii, or is it just certain counties?
yeah, by county, we just do the county of Maui, and then then the county of Honolulu, which is Oahu Island. For us, it's challenging to get from one island to the other with tools. So you really got to have kind of a presence on the island full time in order to really be there. So it's not very practical for us to just cover the whole state. Although it'd be nice to be there, someday, just not there yet. So.
And then obviously we spoke a little bit about this a minute ago, but like what were you guys trying before working with us in terms of lead gen, growing the business?
Yeah, so we've done kind of a lot of things. I would assume, a lot of things that your other, clients and potential clients have done. Obviously put some money into a website, put some money into Google Ads, Yelp, some of those online lead gen kind of things. My partner actually had a post go viral on LinkedIn this week where he complained about marketing companies that are good at marketing themselves and not that good at marketing their clients, right? So in my career, 25-year career, this is something I've always seen, whether it's somebody who makes websites, somebody who does lead gen like you or whatever. There's people who spend so much time marketing themselves that becomes what they're good at, and they don't end up actually being that good at providing, a service for their customers. So one of the things that I've sort of gotten in the habit of is when I get cold emails, when I get outreach, if it's some crazy number or some crazy, promise, I sort of just throw them out. When I got yours, it was simple, right? And I was like, we're always looking for leads, right? We're always looking for new business. And so for me, it doesn't cost me anything to say, okay, I'm going to take 15 minutes to hear what this guy has to say, because I'm probably going to ignore him just like everybody else, right? So we had our meeting, and the pricing and the number to kind of get in and do a trial seemed very fair, right? Not if it was too low, it'd be like, oh, he's probably just a scammer. He just wants our money and he's going to disappear anyways, which we've had do, right? I have had a group come in and say, oh, we're going to create a video and then we're going to email it all out and blah, blah, blah. And you'll be in the video, and they, take the money and run kind of thing. especially for a contractor outside of the US, right?
Yeah,
Like you.
sure.
This group was in Canada, right? So it's sort of the same kind of a thing. So to me, after we met the first time, then I had a conversation with a partner. It was like, okay, whatever. Let's just try it. Throw a couple bucks at him. If he does it, it's a win. If not, it's not that big of a deal. And like I've told you, it's obviously been a win so far. I think we're online with you now, maybe 2 months. Definitely impressed with your responsiveness, right? Your communication and that kind of thing. Impressed with the way that the lead emails have gone out to our potential clients, right? So that's one of the things that I do like is when we get a lead, we don't necessarily just wonder how that lead came. Like we can see the email thread that you sent out to them, their response, that kind of thing. I like that. And the real people, right? They're definitely businesses that are our target market. They're who we're looking for. I don't even know where you got your list, right? But like however you came up with your list, it's the people, right? So we've bought lists, right? I've bought lists that we've cold called and cold emailed and all that kind of stuff. So for this, it's been a pretty big win for us to be able to just say, like, I don't have to hassle with any of that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
understands our message, understands our target, turn it on, and I don't think about it, right? That's been huge. And then obviously it's been good enough that, like, I've already referred you to another business, outside of sort of our same niche, in another geographic location, because the trust level is there, so far. So, yeah, that's what we've tried. That's sort of how we made it into working with you, and some of the benefits of why we like what you're doing.
For sure. No, I really appreciate that. Just to answer your question on where the list comes from, like your experience of buying lists from other vendors is the same experience as so many people in the service-based like industry. You buy these lists and they've already been sent emails like by thousands of other people, and they're just so used to receiving these emails that they just glaze over it, almost like how you said before when you received those crazy emails. And I think, just to answer your question, the way we're doing it differently is using AI to actually build our lists. So it's finding like live results of people that these other lists that have been sold a million times aren't finding. And I think that's one of the reasons your campaigns have worked quite well. I think another reason is because the emails we're sending to your niche are like, each one is personalized. So it kind of looks like you've handwritten it and you're giving compliments and stuff. And I also think the final reason it's worked really well for you guys is like just being based in Hawaii. Like I just think it's a area that's not so used to receiving cold email. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I just feel like they're not as they're just not as used to other markets if you're on the mainland to receiving cold email.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's right. It's 2025, so everybody's getting spammed from every angle in life in general. But because we're on an island in the middle of the ocean, in both this and in other businesses that I've been involved with, we are an underserved market, meaning there's a lot of people who say they'll do something but don't necessarily show up, or there's so many businesses here where you have to call and call and call and call and call just to get somebody to help you. That's very typical. And so I think to get a personalized message, right, which is, even with my sales guy, we sort of chuckle about the messages that the AI writes for you sometimes, because it would just take so long for us to come up with that information, right? Like to look up each one of those individual people and then come up with oh, hey, we saw you were on the such and such list, and we appreciate the way you do business, and that's the way we do business too. And it's pretty amazing that you got that set up. So it's cool.
Appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, I guess that's the end of my questions. I guess the final question I had was, what do you think we could do to improve? Because I've got some ideas in my head of how we could help you guys and help other clients in the future, but just hearing it from you guys would be great feedback.
Yeah, I think strictly from a lead gen standpoint, I don't know that I have huge changes or that I would recommend, or that any expectations are being unmet. I think from the leads that I've seen, it looks like, maybe everything that comes back gets passed on. There's been a few where, because it's AI building it, right? So I think any email under a domain that is an applicable business kind of thing, they're hitting them all. So we've had 2 or 3 that have come through that were like, one was to their jobs email looking for a job. So the response was actually like, oh yeah, hey, thanks for reaching out for a job. We'll get back to you, kind of thing. Which is, to me, I'd rather have those come through than like not get leads. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like that doesn't bother me at all. But there have been 3 or 4 that like, they're just not leads. They're just some kind of a response or a canned auto reply or whatever. Which obviously the sales guy can see in 2 seconds and throw out, kind of thing. So that's something that could get cleaned up a little bit, although it's not really a big issue for us. It would be cool to try to figure out how to sort of continue to nurture a lead, especially with the AI, maybe a next response. But I think the reality is that like from the lead that we're getting, the next response really just needs to be an in-person sort of call / communication anyways. So I'd imagine someday AI is going to be able to do that. But for now, both for you and for our business, it's probably just not a realistic, next step. So
yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely something we're working on. So with the jobs thing, that's actually quite a simple fix. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because we can just go through our lists and just filter out all of those kind of jobs, or like career@business.com, those kinds of things. So that's easy. But yeah, on the follow-up side, that's something that we're building right now. And so it would be interesting to speak to your sales guy and just see what his perfect build looks like, because we need transparency to see like when he's called someone, so that we don't follow up with the wrong email when he's already spoke to them. So it'd be interesting to have that conversation. But yeah, I appreciate that feedback. But yeah, really appreciate your time, Kurt. Thanks for hopping on this video. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, more than happy to do it. I wouldn't do it if we weren't happy with what you were doing. So the fact that I'm here is part of the compliment, right? I'm happy to help.